Greetings and thank you for joining me on Victory Independence. I want to talk to you guys today about Ron Paul and Gary Johnson. Probably be a 2-minute video. Real quickly though, if you hop on over to futuremoneytrends.com, I am offering a new service. It's going to involve talking to fellow real estate investors and actually collectively as a group focusing on some specific areas that we may want to invest in together or individually, as well as all kinds of other things, anything to do with personal finance and moving beyond the collapse. We're also offering 3 free reports, one on life success that I wrote, one on the future trend of water, and of course my favorite commodity, silver. But getting to Ron Paul and Gary Johnson, okay, a lot of people are going to handwrite Ron Paul, or they're even saying that Gary Johnson is stealing votes away from Ron Paul. Look, I was a huge supporter of Ron Paul. I paid a good amount of money to go see him and have dinner with him at a fundraiser, and believe me, that was a huge thing because I don't really donate to too many of these politicians, and I certainly don't donate a lot of money like that just to sit down with somebody and you know, talk to them for 5 minutes, which is about what happened. So I'm hardcore Ron Paul. Ron Paul, I consider him a great educator and teacher in life and in liberty, of course. But that's the thing. Ron Paul's movement is the liberty movement. So for people to go and fill out and handwrite Ron Paul's name in, you know, and now of course if they don't like Gary Johnson, then of course you know, go for it. But if you like Gary Johnson, but you're going to go with Ron Paul anyway, it makes no sense. Now people who try to compare Gary Johnson to Ron Paul, he's not. He's not as smart economically. I would agree with that. But notice his natural convictions lean him towards the Austrian side. You know, he's acknowledged that there's not a lot of things that you can do as president as far as you can't pass bills and sign them yourself, but there are things he can cut funding to. He can not choose to enforce certain laws. So I think he would make a great president. I think he is the vehicle currently for the liberty movement if they want to keep educating people in the political arena. Ron Paul is not running. Ron Paul, if he wanted you to vote for him, he would either run as a third party or, you know, try to stage something at the, you know, fight at the convention, or tell you to vote for him. You know, his son, for whatever reason, I don't know why, is endorsed Mitt Romney, which is just, to me, it's ridiculous because it makes no sense that he would do that. It totally handicaps the liberty movement. Because Rand Paul would have been a good person, but now so many people are burnout on him. It would have been completely understandable if he didn't. His father's running for president. You know, what are people going to say in 4 years? Hey, you didn't endorse Romney? He's going to say, hey, my dad was running for president. So he didn't have to do that, but he did. He is a speaker at the convention, which is amazing when you think about it, though. He is a very libertarian candidate. But getting back to Gary Johnson, I'm going to be voting for him. And look, I've got one issue that I disagree with him on pretty strongly. But I know that the president can only do so much. And the fact is I'm more concerned about liberty, because everything else will fall in line if individuals are focused on liberty and not the state, not which power in the state is going to better help my life, but how to get the state out of our lives completely and just focus on liberty. And yeah, Gary's not, you know, someone like, you know, who knows Austrian economics perfectly like Ron Paul does. But you know what? His default convictions are less government. And he's got a track record in New Mexico to prove it. And I think he sees what's going on. In fact, I know he sees what's going on. You know, I talked to him for a good 30 minutes on the interview and a good 30 minutes after the interview off camera. And I talked to him about the economy and, you know, said some things to me privately. And believe me, this guy knows exactly what's going to happen. In fact, he's talked to people, you know, in the Treasury Department, former Treasury officials, former Goldman Sachs people who've told him that the economy is about to blow up. So Gary Johnson knows what's at stake here. He knows this is it. Someone has to get in there and fix it. And if they don't fix it, the whole thing's gonna blow up and we're going to have a big reset. Yeah, probably have a reset anyway, because, I mean, even if Ron Paul was elected, and Ron Paul held every seat in Congress, you cannot avoid having a reset because so many people have been conditioned to think and believe that the government is there to aid us and the government is there to do things to fix our lives and make our lives better and more equal, and the government is there to steal things from other people to make things more fair and spread their goodness. The 2-minute video is now a 5-minute and 30-second video. I apologize. But back to basically my main thing. I'll just, in closing, I think it's a waste of a vote. If you're going to make the effort to vote, don't vote for someone who doesn't want to run for president. Vote for somebody who wants to run for president and who supports individual liberty. Someone who wants to bring the troops home. Someone who, and I'm not talking about from Afghanistan and Iraq. I'm talking about bring the troops home. You know, it's funny. Quick story. We're out of dinner with some friends from Israel. And my wife, you know, everyone in Israel has to join the military when they're, I think, 18 to 21 or 22 or something. Anyway, she asked him, she goes, okay, well, you're in the military. Where were you stationed? It was a very innocent question for my wife, but you could see the American mindset in her assumed that where were you stationed? Like, where did you go? And he was like, Israel. I stayed in my country, you know, and it's, you know, that's the mindset, though, of everybody in this country that my wife had adopted when it comes to, you know, thinking, oh, you join the military and then you go overseas. No, you don't need to go overseas. You can join the military and just defend the homeland and stay right in your borders. You know, with what's going on in New York, this new high-tech security system that they've created, that they've had running for 6 months, and now they disclose to the public, you know, some of the things from Michael Bloomberg banning soda, getting rid of MSG. I mean, these things that they're trying to micromanage our lives. We really need a strong movement and a strong president. And right now, the only guy that I see running for president that aligns with the Liberty Movement is Gary Johnson. And again, love Ron Paul. If Ron Paul was running, I would vote for Ron Paul. But Ron Paul's not running. And to bash Gary Johnson because he's not Ron Paul is unfair to me, because he's not supposed to be Ron Paul. Ron Paul did not do this so that we could just be Ron Paul and done. Okay? Ron Paul did this, you know, as a 76-year-old man because he wanted to help bring fire to the Liberty Movement, and that he did. And I hope that fire doesn't get put out just because people get stuck on one guy. Okay, that's the mentality that Ron Paul probably would want us to avoid. That we don't want to get completely obsessed with the king. Okay, we're the people. We want to have individual liberty. Right now, Gary Johnson's our vehicle to educate others and wake more people up. So maybe in 2012 or maybe in 2016 or 2014, we have more people thinking about individual liberty and not thinking about what the state can do for them. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching this 2-minute video, all done under 9 minutes.